no one's hot tagged me yet, but I want to talk about this. So everyone's going crazy over him saying on that show yesterday, the Barstool show, Dave Portnoy show, that he made 12-12 for this fight. I have several thoughts about this, if I may. It's obviously a shocking number, right? 12-12, $4.5 million gate, O2 Arena, sold out, huge event, biggest night in UK history. He's one of the stars. He's the guy that they're all talking about going in and going out. Shocking number. Now, if you've been following the UFC and you know it's a second fight and you know the economics of the whole situation, you're not surprised by the number. This is what people get entry level. But when you consider these factors, this is why it doesn't sit well with people like me. And he could feel, if he's happy with it, God bless. Last year, the UFC's revenue was in the range of $1 billion. $1 billion. Okay? Their deal with ESPN alone generates in the range for them $500 million. Okay? A year. When you have a situation when you're making that kind of money and you have a situation where the vast majority of your most lucrative deals are coming in at a fixed rate, what does that mean? The ESPN deal is fixed. The sponsorship deals, all those deals on the mat, right? Fixed. Monster, Modelo, this, that, fixed. Crypto, fixed. Venom, fixed. TV deals, Combate, Global, TSN, fixed. Pay-per-view deals now, fixed. They have never been in a better position. Now, please be clear about this. Kudos to them. That's the dream. You want a fixed income. I want one. They want one. Fighters want one. Everyone wants to know what they're making when the year starts to when the year ends. And it's an amazing feat that a fight promotion has fixed income. That's incredible. Wow. Fixed? Now everything else is cherries on top, right? Gates, ticket sales, merchandise, that fluctuates. But all these big deals are fixed. So they know now more so than ever how much they're going to make, what's coming in. They can allocate that money now more so than ever. $1 billion, $500 million from just ESPN alone. And the biggest star on that card, the biggest name on that card, the one that everyone was buzzing about, got 12-12. Now, don't even begin to talk to me about the bonus, because we saw this past weekend, they can hand out 9 of those 50Ks. You want to add that 50K to it? You want to add, so 12-12, 24, 74K. If you want to do that, fine. I don't think that's fair because he wasn't guaranteed. He was guaranteed $12,000. That's what he was guaranteed. If he lost that fight, he was only getting 12. There was a chance that Paddy Pimblett could have showed up, all the buzz, all the buildup, all the talk, all the promos, all the media, and he just walks away with 12 if he loses that fight. Think about that, $12,000. And that's before taxes, and that's before you pay your manager, and that's before you pay your coaches. $12,000. Incredible number for a name like him, for a guy who's making that kind of buzz. And then people want to say, oh, he's got this Barstool deal, and he only has that deal because he's a part of the UFC. That has nothing to do with anything. The UFC's that's not part of their revenue. That's not part of the $1 billion. The Barstool thing has nothing to do with it. That's in large part because of who he is. Now, did Barstool see him because he was on a UFC show on ESPN? Sure. But you can't factor that into the equation. That has nothing to do with the pie that the UFC is eating out of. The other thing that is amazing about all of this is that when you go back to Conor's second fight back in 2013, August of 2013, UFC on FS1 won against Max Holloway. First fight, Diego Brandao, April. Second fight, Max Holloway, August. Conor made 12-12. What that tells me is all this talk from all these executives at the UFC is hogwash. Nothing's evolved. Nothing's changed. This is before the UFC got to ESPN. This is at the beginning of the Fox deal. If a guy like Conor McGregor was making 12-12 and a guy like Paddy Pimblett is making 12-12, nothing has evolved. Nothing has changed in 9 years. It has to change. Salary caps go up. Revenue sharing goes up. How has it not changed in 9 years? How could you be a UFC fighter and look at these numbers and say, oh yeah, I'm getting my fair share? And I love Mohammed Mokaev, and I love all these young fighters and how wide-eyed they are. And but you talk about the PI, you talk about the people behind the scenes. $1 billion we're talking about, guys. Of course you should be having a PI. Of course these things should be at your disposal, because they are for every other high-level athlete out there. This is not a gift. This should come with the territory. And the one thing that I feel like always gets lost on people when they talk about these things are the managers. The managers get off way too easy in this game, if you ask me. Now, I have a great relationship with the vast majority of the managers, so I'm not trying to, pick a fight or point fingers, but let's call it like it is. In fact, let's go super specific here. Paddy Pimblett's manager is Graham Boylan. Graham Boylan has a great thing going for him. He's the head guy of Cage Warriors. He's been that guy for a long time, and they love to boast that they've sent, I think now, over 100 fighters to the UFC. It's a great farm system, if you will, and they've developed and located and recruited a ton of great talent that have become huge names. Massive credit, I do think, to his matchmaker, Ian Dean. But he has this system where he'll bring over guys from Cage Warriors, sign them to his management team, and then bring them to the UFC. So Paddy is represented by him, and so are the vast majority of those fighters that were, UK-based that were fighting on this card. Now, why are you okay with a 12-12 deal for a guy as big as Paddy Pimblett? Paddy Pimblett was no ordinary UFC debutant last year. This guy had a massive fan base dating back to 2015. How is that okay? Does it have anything to do with the fact that you got a great streaming deal with Fight Pass? You don't want to rock that boat, right? I would imagine. Or what about the fact that you've got all these fighters and this great relationship? You don't want to rock the boat because of one person. And so the question I would wonder is, are you looking out for my best interest, or are you looking out for the best interest of your relationship with the UFC? Because that's what it seems like to me. Because if I'm representing Paddy Pimblett and I'm calling up the UFC and say, what do you got for me going into the Luigi fight? And you tell me 12-12, you know what's the next call that I'm making? It's to Scott Coker and Mike Hogan at Bellator and saying, hey, I'm getting 12-12 here. What can you guys get? And I feel like they're going to overpay, especially with their interest in that market. And so they may come back with 40-40 or 50-50. I don't think that call ever really happened. That's how you play the game. That's how you look out for the best interest of the fighter. And so, yeah, I do think there's some questions that need to be asked there if I'm Paddy. Now, again, Paddy could be happy with the deal, and maybe it's not even the real number, although he said it himself. We've heard about these, backroom deals. But how could you, in good conscience, sign your fighter to a promotion that's paying you 12-12, 12 guaranteed when you're that big of a name? He deserves way more than that. This guy deserves, based on what they generated, at least $500,000, at least, based on what they generate just that night alone, let alone all the other stuff that he's generating for them. $1 billion. Most, if not all of it, fixed. Fixed. How they don't see this, how they don't understand this, I'll never know. It's one of the great mysteries of my life. But you see today, when he says that, people have this reaction like, wow, nothing's changed. Go back to 2013. Hey, Dan Hardy's saying 5-5 in 2009. How far off are we from that? $7K off. That part of the business hasn't changed. Everything else has changed. The TV deal, $1.5 billion from ESPN. The sponsorships, all this has changed. And yet you see people online defending it. Don't you want the best for your fighters? Because I can assure you, very soon they're going to be out. Very soon they'll be out of the UFC. And very soon they'll be looking for new work. And they'll be looking for a new job and new opportunities and new employment. And not left with a lot. When is that cycle going to end? When are we going to have things like revenue sharing, collective bargaining, and pensions? All these things can happen right now. They can all happen right now. But we seem to care about it more than the fighters. So God bless. Those are my thoughts, though, when I see something like that. Wow, if I'm a guy getting that, how come my manager's not doing more on my behalf? Why are they making $1 billion? What about the TV deal money? What about all these fixed? I see all these sponsors on the cage. What about this crypto sponsor that I have to wear on my shirt that I don't get a penny from? Where's the breakdown? Where's my share? Where's my piece of the pie?